All right, great. Welcome to day three. This is our third session or lesson three of this computer training course program. Now, how are you doing? Have you been able to practice? I hope you're doing great. I hope you've made some steps. Um, Typing what we typed in the previous lesson. This is the paragraph that we are coming up with, and I hope you've made great steps. You build your skills, you mastering the keyboard, you are learning how to type a little bit faster, and you're making good progress. That's my belief and that's my hope. And now I want us to dive into the third lesson of this training course program. Now, and in this lesson, I have a surprise for you. So I'm always finding or trying to figure out the best way to give you the best experience, the best training on this course. And so when we went on prep, I figured out, okay, we had a few challenges in the previous lesson where I couldn't actually show you the different keyboard keys and how to work with them. And so I went and found out a solution for that. And so from here moving forward, I will not just be telling you which key or trying to explain where you can access a certain key in the keyboard. I'm actually going to show you, right? I found a solution for that because I want to be sure that I'm giving the best value in this course or even over deliver on what I promised in this course, right? So this is going to be very exciting. You get to learn a lot, and so I want you to sit up, get ready, and let's dive in. Great. Now, in the previous lesson, we came up with this paragraph, right? And I hope you already have your paragraph. Now, if you experienced a little bit of challenges with regards to able to figure out different keyboard keys, I want to fix that in this lesson before we dive in. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pull off a keyboard from my computer. You will be able to see it on your screen. Then I'm going to explain some of the keys that I tried to describe in the previous lesson while you couldn't see the keyboard on the screen. So allow me to do that. I'm gonna click right here. Right, let me scroll this one up a little bit. So I'm gonna click this keyboard, and here we are. This is my keyboard, and I want to show you the different keys. Allow me to drag it a little bit down here. I want to show you the different keyboard keys that I was trying to explain in the previous lesson yesterday. If you are taking these lessons one lesson per day, or a few minutes ago, if you are a few hours ago, if you're taking these lessons back to back. All right, so I tried to explain the caps lock key, and now I can show you the caps lock key. This is the caps lock key, and this key helps you to turn on, to change from lowercase to uppercase and uppercase to lowercase. Now, I'm not sure that this key or this keyboard, my keyboard here, will work really live here, but let's try it. If it works, better. If it doesn't work, at least you see and you know the different keys that I was trying to explain. This is the caps lock key, this is the shift key, and on the other side, this is the backspace key. Now, on certain keyboards, the backspace is indicated by a label on the key, labeled backward or rather backspace. In certain keyboards, it's just an arrow like this. All right, basically it's a delete arrow, but indicates that you're going to be deleting moving backward, right? And so for different keyboard keys, it look different, but the function is the same. And then we have the enter key here. For certain keyboards, it's written enter. For others, it has an arrow pointing to the left and then a label indicated enter, or just a simple of an arrow pointing leftward, right? And then this is shift key. We also talked about the full stop. This way you can find the full stop. You have this key that has a greater than sign, then a full stop, and this key that has a less than sign, and then we have this comma, and then you come down here, we have this key that has commas and then apostrophe. So if you had challenges being able to figure out where those different characters are, now you can see them right here. Okay, now let's try this key, keyboard key, and let's the online keyboard, and let's see whether it works for our document here. So I'm gonna have to try and type something using this key, and then try to use these different keys like explained, and let's see whether it will work. Even if it doesn't, at least you've seen the keyboard and you know where the different keys that I explained are, and moving forward I'll be able to easily show them to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna type, let's say we want to type something like let's say something like what do we type? Let's say something like something like today there's a surprise in this lesson. At least I'm now able to see the keyboard, and I'm gonna try to use this keyboard right here. And while it's not easy, it's gonna take up a few minutes to really type that because I'm not able to use both hands. I have to use my mouse, but let's try and see. So I want the first letter to be capital, so I'm going to activate the caps lock key. You just click the caps lock key, it is activated. When you hear that sound, it's activated, and now I can type. Let me try to type using my normal keyboard and let's see what happens. Give me a minute. All right, good. I was just testing whether this keyboard works. It actually works. So now let's do it. I'm gonna activate the caps lock by just clicking the caps lock, and now it's on, and I want to type today. Actually type, notice that my T is caps now. All right, then I turn the caps off by clicking the caps, and now it's off. So let's now continue. Today, notice now the rest of the characters are lowercase. So today is a surprise. Sorry, no, let me use the backspace now to delete so you can see. So let's see. All right, notice deleting backward. All right, today is a surprise day. Full stop. I'm gonna click this one for full stop. There you go. Today's my surprise. All right, let's correct this. Today is a surprise day, right? And then let's type at least. So at least should be, the L should be capital. So I'm gonna click here so that I have a capital, and then I can type at, and then I'll just click. It's now lowercase, and I can say at least. Now I can see my keyboard on the screen, and now learning is really easy. All right, full stop. I just click full stop. There you are. And let's continue. Now you will notice this sorry, there's a problem here. Keyboard, this is not how you write a keyboard. So I want to remove this P. So how do I do it? I said you just come and click in between here to place the cursor there, and then I'm gonna use the delete, or rather the backspace. Okay, notice the backspace on my keyboard. Just click it, and the BP is gone. Right, and then I'll click here and continue. Today's a surprise day. At least I can see my keyboard on the screen, and now learning is really easy. I notice we have mistakes here, but I'm leaving them there intentionally because I'm gonna be showing in this lesson how to correct these errors, right? So today is my surprise day. At least I can see the keyboard on the screen, and now learning is really easy. And then you say Eric is really doing, let me delete this one. Let's use the backspace. I want to show you how these are working. So you can use the backspace to delete. Now you can also use the del key to delete, but the del key deletes forward. Remember, the backspace will delete backward, meaning the cursor has to be on the right side of the text you want to delete, and then you click here, it will delete backward. But what if I want to delete this line from here, the whole of it, and my cursor is here, all right, and I want to delete what is on the right? At that point, or in that case, you cannot use the backspace key. You have to use the delete key. The delete key deletes forward, meaning that you delete the text on the right side of the cursor. So I want to make sure that my cursor is there. I want to remove that section of a line, so I'm going to use delete. All right, that is how you delete. So I'm deleting forward, and there you are. That section of the line is gone. Right, so let's type something. So it's a surprise day. At least I can see my keyboard on the screen, and now learning is easy. Then let's say type I. Now instead of typing I am, I want to type because I want to show you how to use the apostrophe. So I put I, and then I use this one. This is where you get your apostrophe. I click, all right, and then I'm really getting the value for my investment from this course. All right, and then let's say I am glad, and let's just use am. So I'm gonna type I. By the way, I can use caps lock. You just pick capital I here, and then I pick apostrophe, and then I remove the caps lock. At least let's see, I'm really getting the value of my investment from this course. Glad. I want the I to be capital, so I'm gonna click this one. Let's try to use shift. Actually, I'm gonna click shift. It is active. All right, let's do something. All right, I'm gonna click shift. When you click shift, you notice initially these letters were lowercase. The moment I click shift, they switch to uppercase. So I can now click I and then remove the shift. Will just go. It will just be automatically deactivated. Unlike caps lock, notice when you click caps lock, you get uppercase. All right, and when you click and continue to type, anything that you get there is uppercase. The caps lock does not turn off automatically, but shift does. Right, so if we were using shift, the moment you type the first character, the shift will automatically go off or be deactivated, and anything you type after that is going to be lowercase. Right, so let's delete that and practice that. So I'm gonna deactivate caps lock, meaning everything is lowercase. I'm gonna use shift to switch to uppercase, and then I can say I'm glad I. Notice the moment you type I, the shift goes off, and now everything is in lowercase. So I'm glad I chose. By the way, you can just try to use this one to type I. We need to have a space in between here. but let's just finish up that I chose. All right, notice I chose, they are close together. We need to have a character space here. So how do you put a character space between two words? You use the space bar. This is the key that you call space bar. If I click space bar, I have a space, right? One character space. So I'm glad I chose 2. Now try to use this keyboard. I chose 2. I put a space bar. By clicking the space bar, I put a character space. I'm glad I chose 2. Enroll. I'm trying to use our online keyboard. Enroll. Space bar to leave our character space. In. Space bar again. This course. There you are, and then full stop. By the way, you might find that sound of the keyboard a little bit irritating, so if it is, you can reduce the volume, or you can reduce the volume of this video so it doesn't hurt your ears. I wanted you to see how we can use the keyboard. Now, how do I go to a new line? I told you earlier on in yesterday's lesson, on the last lesson, that you use enter to go to a new line, and this is your enter key. So if I want to go to a new line or a new paragraph, all I need to do is just press enter, and there you go. Now I am on a new line, and I can now continue typing. So I'm glad I chose to enroll in this course. All right, and then I can type. I can activate shift to start with the capital letter, and then I type I, then the shift will go off. It's the same way as pressing shift and you press a key to get a capital letter, and then you release the shift, and then you continue having the rest of the characters lowercase. So apostrophe, we said, here it is. So I'm excited for today's, again apostrophe, you can click there, today's lesson session, right? So that is how you use the keyboard. Now I will only be turning this keyboard on when I'm explaining how to use a certain key. For now, allow me to switch it off. I'll only turn it on when I'm explaining something, so we can dive in and we can get started into how to correct spelling and grammatical errors, right? So when I click full stop, don't worry, good to be using more of this keyboard to master the skills with the keyboard as we move along. So I'm going to close the keyboard here, and now here we are. All right, so now we do have our paragraph. This is a paragraph. What we need right now is I want to show you how to do formatting, right? And formatting, like I mentioned a while back in the last session, formatting is changing the appearance of your text, all right? And that can include font type, font size, spelling and grammar, deleting, basically what you hear people talk about editing. Most of what people talk about refer to when they say editing is basically formatting, right? You have to make your document appear more professional. That's what you're going to do, right? So the first that I want to show you is how to do spelling and grammatical error, or how to correct spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. Now, there are a number of ways that you can do it, but I want to show you first of all the shortcut way, which is basically actually not shortcut, because at the end of the day, if you are correcting errors, grammatical errors and spelling mistakes in a huge document, it's not shortcut because it's going to take you longer. Then I'll show you a more effective way. Now let's get started. Let's say For instance, we have this word graduation, or rather congratulations. Now, you notice it has been highlighted by a red wavy line. What does that mean? It means there's a spelling mistake. Every time you see a red wavy line underline, that's a spelling mistake, right? Anytime you see a green wavy line underline, that is a grammatical error. Okay, some systems, rather than highlight to the green, they will highlight to the blue, but most word programs, they'll do it with the green. So now this means there's a spelling mistake here because it's red wavy underline. So how do you fix that? Most people, and this is what most people do, and it's not the most effective way to do it. Most people will just come and right click. If you come, position your cursor on where the mistake is and use the right mouse button and click. So you right click, it's going to bring this pop-up command with suggestions. All right, while you try to figure out what is it that you tried to, or you were trying to convey, or you were trying to type, and it can come up with some suggestions. Sometimes those suggestions are correct, other times they are not. There are even times Word is not able to figure out what you actually wanted. All right, so what happens is, at this point, if you agree with the suggestions given, you pick the one that you agree with, and automatically the Word will correct that spelling mistake. So let's say congratulations. So we wanted this one, so just click it and notice it's now corrected. Congratulations, right? You come here, I'm showing the method that most people use, but it's not effective. Notice it will only correct that one, and you have to manually look for the others. The problem with this one is you have to manually look for where the spelling mistakes are and where the grammatical mistakes are. So think about, if you have a book of like 100 pages and you're using this kind of error correction that I'm showing you right now, you'll have to go through the entire page and literally read it or look out for those spelling mistakes. Word is not able to figure out where they are. You have to read, check which ones are underlined. Of course, the Word program will underline them, but it will not be able to trace them. So you'll have to literally go through every single document, look for where you have green wavy line or red wavy line, and fix them. Right, so it's kind of manual. All right, it takes a lot of time. So you come here, you right click. Let's see what you meant here. Congratulations to me for choosing. So this was choosing. So I'm gonna right click here. You right click, and what you notice is Word is not able to get you the correct suggestion that you wanted. Okay, you didn't want chop chrome, chum, chasing, chromo, none of this. So in such a case, you correct it yourself. You ask yourself, what did I want to write here? And then you fix it. So choosing, it's I click here, I put a double O, and I remove this M. I'm using now backspace key, and then I click I and then N. All right, fix that. You come here, invest again. You right click invest, and then you have the right suggestion here. You click, and they are corrected. And then you come again here, really. You right click. You get really, what's missing here is single L, or rather we need to have double L. We have single L, so I click really, that's corrected. And then you come here again, same thing. So I right click, I click really, and it's corrected. And then here we have my appears twice. We want to remove one of it. Okay, just a reminder, I can pull up my keyboard and I can scroll up this paragraph. I click there, and then I can use the backspace just for a reminder to how this one works, and then I can remove that one. All right, I close it. That is how most people do corrections, but that is manual. Why? Notice you had to look to check or look for yourself each and every spelling mistake manually. Now there's a more efficient way. If you have a document with 1,000 pages and you have to scroll through every page, look out for where you have red or green wavy underline, that's a lot of work. It's going to waste a lot of your time. So it is a more efficient way to do spelling and grammar check and correct them. I'm gonna show you. But before I do that, what we need to do right now is I'm gonna have to introduce spelling and mistakes because again we just corrected everything here, so our paragraph is perfect. Let's introduce intentionally some errors, then I'm gonna show you how we can correct them. So I will go to certain text, I will remove certain characters. I'm intentionally creating spelling mistakes and grammatical errors so that we can fix them using the more efficient method. All right, notice the green is grammatical error. By the way, grammar has something to do with the structure of your sentence. Okay, so if your structure your sentence is not well structured, that's a grammatical error. If the spelling is incorrect, that's a spelling mistake. That's the difference between the two. All right, I've just introduced a bunch of grammatical errors and a bunch of spelling mistakes, and now we want to fix them. All right, and I'm going to show you how we can fix them. Notice that if I leave a 2-character space between 2 words, that one tends to be termed as grammatical errors. All right, so now we have a bunch of grammatical errors and a bunch of spelling mistakes. Here's the most efficient way to correct this. What you do is you go to review menu. All right, so let's go to the review menu, click review, and then go to spelling and grammar. All right, notice where my mouse pointer is, spelling and grammar. You click there. When you click there, this window opens. All right, this window opens. By the way, how do I move this small window here around? You bring your mouse pointer on the top here, you hold down the left mouse button, and then you drag. You can move it wherever you want. So let's bring it down here so that it does not block our work. All right, there it is. So what happens is MS Word will pull up this spelling and grammar dialog box, and in the dialog box it's going to highlight what the problem is. All right, and then it's going to give you suggestions here on how to fix a problem. For instance, this is red. What that tells you is there's a spelling mistake. It's going to give you the words that according to the system are best suited to replace that. Now it's for you to figure out what you really wanted, okay, so that you can know which of the options that you pick. Oftentimes it'll have suggestions, sometimes it may not even have a suggestion as to what you wanted, and sometimes all the suggestions might be wrong. So you have to decide whether the suggestion is correct or whether that is exactly what you wanted or not before you choose it. Of course, this is supposed to be because, so this suggestion is correct, so I select it by clicking it, and then you click change. You click change, it will fix that problem. Now, the good thing with this method is that once it fixes the problem, it will go down reading your text until it finds the other problem, okay, and highlight it. So after fixing because, it went reading through that line and it came across another problem here, and it's highlighted in green. Now green means we have a grammatical error. Now what's the problem here? The problem is after this comma we are supposed to have 1 character space, but we have 2 character space. The space between comma and especially it's 2 character wide. It's supposed to be 1 character. In other words, we were supposed to press spacebar once, but it seems like we spaced it twice. And that's why when you look at this suggestion given, the space between the comma and especially on this suggestion is a little bit narrower as compared to this one, because it's supposed to be one character space. So we agree with the correction. So I click the suggestion given, then we click change. All right. After that, goes through, read your text, and get to the next problem, which is good trainer. All right. It's this one here. So now, at this point, of course, it's green, so you can tell the problem is grammar, and you can tell actually the problem is the space between these two words. It's two character space. This space, look at it a little bit wider compared to this one. It was supposed to be one character space. Okay, so we agree with this, we click, and then we click change, and then it will go reading the text. It will get you to the next problem. What makes this method efficient is it will go reading your text. You don't have to figure out where the errors are. It will read the text, and it will stop at the point where there are grammatical errors or spelling mistakes. That means if you have a book or like 1,000 or 100 of pages, you don't have to read it. MS Word will read it for you. Right? The Word document will read it for you. It will always be stopping at any given or particular section of your text that has a problem, okay, and highlight whether it's a spelling mistake or whether it's a grammatical error, and then you can correct it. So it makes your work easier. You don't have to read the document yourself. Word will read for you and highlight the problems for you and provide suggestions. So here we are again. It's a space between this one. This space is wider. It's two character space. It's supposed to be one character space, and that's why the space between this here and narrow, this and one in this suggestion is a little bit narrow. Okay, so we pick the suggestion and then we click change. Moves to the next, and what we have here, according to the system, there is a spelling mistake. Right now, of course, we know it's not a spelling mistake. What happens here is we were supposed to write I am, but we combined the I and the am. Now, there's no suggestion here that really fits what we actually wanted to type. So in such a case where there's no suggestion, you correct it manually yourself. So you come in between here and you click there and you put the space. You just press the space bar once, you create the space there, and then you are good to go. Once you do that, you click change and it correct that and move to the next. This is supposed to be myself, spelling mistake, and it had the right suggestion here, myself, so I'll click myself and then I'll click change. And then we get here again, this is supposed to be see the keyboard on the screen, so we should have a space in between on and fair. We didn't have a space. Now according to the system, this could be this could be a spelling mistakes. That's why it's highlighted in red, but really what this is a grammatical error. All right, and it had the right suggestions here. A few other suggestions here. You could have, according to the system, probably you wanted to write anthem or anther or something, but we know we wanted on there, so we pick this suggestion and then we click change and move to the next. Getting, it's double T, not a single T, so this is a spelling mistake. It had the right suggestions. You click getting here and then you click change. All right, and then you have course. It's green, grammatical error. The problem is after course, this period should be immediately after course, but there's a space between the period or the full stop and the course, and that's the problem. When you check the suggestion there, you notice there is no space in between. So this is the right suggestion, so we click it, we correct it. Now before we correct this one, because this might be the final one, I want to introduce another problem because I want to show you something. Let's say, for instance, if you type a name of a place, like let's say I'm excited in today's session. Let's add something and say, and I'm taking these lessons, lessons from my house, from my house at, let's pick a name of a place that's not really an English word, at Kitengela, for instance. That's not an English word. So according to word, that can be a grammatical error or a spelling mistake. It's a name of a place. We want it just the way it is. So in such a case, I will show you what to do. And notice it has been underlined. Let's add one more sentence. I'm excited for today's session, and I am taking these lessons from my house at Kitengela. And then you can say, yesterday I talked to my colleague. Okay, yesterday I talked to my colleague. Let's actually intentionally create a spelling mistake. My colleague who is taking this online course from let's say from where they're taking this course from. Let's type a name that's not an English name. Let's say from from Uruguay, and Tawala, Nairobi, right? So yesterday I talked to my colleagues, okay, my colleagues who are taking this course, online course from Ruai and Utawala, and then you put an hyphen. Where do you get an hyphen? Let me pull out my keyboard here and show you something. Let's say I want to put my hyphen in between here, so Ruai and Utawala, Nairobi. So I want to put an hyphen in between. This is the hyphen, so just click there, and then you have your hyphen, Utawala, Nairobi. And then let's see who are taking this online course from Ruai and Utawala, Nairobi. And then you put another hyphen, and then you say, and they are enjoying it, being able to learn from the comfort of their own house or office, right? Full stop. Now I created a bunch of mistakes there, so I can point out a few things for you. So close this one, and now you notice that let's pull our spelling grammar a little bit upward. Okay, so here we are. So what you need to do now, notice this one has become inactive. Why? Because you switched from using it to typing, so it becomes inactive. So what you do, you tell it resume, click resume, comes back, and it's now active. Now you might need to pull it down so that you can see where we are. So we have yesterday I talked to my colleagues. Now the word colleague is not written, it has grammatical errors. It needs to have, let's see, from here it's double L-E-A, and there's no A here, so let's correct. We pick this one, and then you click change, goes to the next Ruai. Now notice it's indicating Ruai as a problem, and it's not a problem because according to the system, Ruai is not an English word, and of course it's the name of a place. It's not an English word, so we want to retain it as it is. So what do you do? Just retain it as it is, but we should make it the R capital, since it's a name of a place, and then you click change, and then it will tell you you've chosen a word that is not in the dictionary. According to the system, the word Y is not in the inbuilt dictionary of Microsoft Word, and it will ask whether you want to add that word in the dictionary. Of course, we don't want to do that. It's not an English word, just a name of a place, so you say no. All right. It will still I'll highlight Ruhai as a spelling mistake. So what you do, you tell it ignore. If you click ignore, it will ignore every word that is written Ruhai. All right, so that the highlighting of the red, they are not there. So you click ignore all, and it will remove the highlight. Utawala, we have a problem. The computer tells you I don't have a suggestion for this, no spelling suggestions. So you know this is a name of a place, so it should start with capital U, Tawala. Then you tell it to change. Again, you're going to get this message. This word does not exist in the dictionary of Microsoft Word. Of course, it doesn't. And it's a name of a place, so we don't need to put it in the dictionary as a new word. So what you do to this message is, do you want to use this word and continue checking? You click no. And then now that you put capital U, what happens is that it tried to figure out, and it has given us Tukwila. Really, that's not what you want. So we're going to tell it to ignore that word and return it as it is. So we click ignore all. All right, and then you continue. What I wanted to show you is that you're going to have some words in your document that are not English words. What you do, you click ignore, and the system will ignore the word and retain it. All right, so let's finish up with this one. This should be comfort of our house. The suggestions here are not correct, and still we have a problem. So what you do, if the system doesn't have a suggestion, you correct it manually from here. So I'm gonna click there, I will remove that, and this was comfort. All right, just click comfort, and then I click change. It will correct it. Then you come down here, and you have all these things that we do not want. All right, so I'll have to delete all of them. So I'm deleting them from there, and then I click change, and now it comes back here. We have another problem. I am enjoying second computer end. It's highlighted green. Why? We should have one character space here between comma and end, which is what you're given here as a suggestion. So click the suggestion, and then I'll click change. There you go. It goes to the next one of the best. You should have a space in between there and best, and so we have a suggestion that corresponds to what we should have. So I click the best, then I click change. All right, and then there we go to recommend. This is not how you write the word recommend. C is missing from the suggestions. The computer is pretty smart. Most of the suggestions are going to be available and correct, so we have a correct one here. So click it, I click change, and here we are. Course, the space between the course and the full stop, there should be no space in between them. So we pick these suggestions, or rather this suggestion, and then we click change. And then we have the word Kitengela. All right, now we have a problem with Kitengela because Kitengela is not an English word. So what do? We all now know what to do. You click ignore, and now we are back here taking these lessons. Now this is a grammatical problem here, all right, because lessons is plural and this is singular. All right, and so it's supposed to be these lessons, not these lessons, right? And it seems to have the right suggestions here. Actually, you have two options. Either you can use this lesson or these lessons, right? So you decide what you want. Let's reread the sentence. I'm excited of this for today's lesson. And by the way, yeah, lesson session, and I am taking this lesson. That should be this lesson, not this. So we pick this suggestion here, and then we click change. Now, once it has run through your document and corrected everything, it will tell you spelling and grammar check is complete. and after that you click OK, and you're done. And that is how you correct. This is the best, most effective way to correct your spelling, grammatical errors. Why? Because the system will read your document, the whole of it, highlighting where the problem is. If you use the previous one that we started with, you'll have to read the document yourself, all right, to check which ones have been highlighted and fix them. The system will not read them for you. So use the one that you've just done. This is the most efficient way to correct spelling, grammatical errors in your document. All right. Now, at this point, you can pause this session and create your own paragraph, write your own paragraph, and then try to correct those spelling and grammar. Or you can introduce your own spelling and grammatical errors in your document, introduce them, and then run the spelling and grammatical error. If you forget the steps that you did, just rewind this lesson and you can check the steps that we took to come here. How did we arrive here? It was simple. We basically went to review, and then we went to spelling and grammar. All right, and then we got, just show you, let me combine that. Let's fix this. Let me I just want to show you how we did. Initially we were at home or page layout or wherever we were. So we went to review and then spelling and grammar. This one came up. This one will always come up as long as there are grammatical and spelling mistakes. If there aren't, it will tell you, it will bring a different message telling you the spelling and grammar, grammatical, the checking of the spelling and grammatical errors are complete, and there are no errors. So let's spell this one, and then we click change. You get this message and you're done. So I want you can pause this session and you can take your time and do and practice what you've just done. Alternative, you can choose to proceed with this session and come back later and do this, but my suggestion is pause this session. Just click pause this session, practice what you've done, and then after that come back and resume, and then in the next section of this session we are going to learn how to do formatting. All right, so take a break, practice, come back, and then we will dive into formatting. All right, I want to believe that you did enough practice. You're able now to run spelling and grammar check very efficiently without any problem. Now let's dive into formatting. All right, now formatting is basically changing the appearance of your text. I want to start with one that's very simple, something that you call changing the font size. You can change your font character, how big or small they are, and I want to show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. First thing, before you change the font character, the first thing that you want to do is highlight. All right, now what is highlighting? Highlighting is like pointing to the computer the section of your text for which you want to format. All right, so how do you highlight? It's very simple. You click at the beginning of the text you want to highlight, then you press and hold down the left mouse button. Do not release it, hold it down. Right, as you hold it down, drag your mouse and it's going to highlight that section of text. Once you highlight to the point where you want, release your mouse pointer. Now the computer knows exactly which section of the text you want to work on. Now let's now format this text. Let's highlight it again, click the beginning, hold down the left mouse button and you drag. You release, it's already highlighted. Alternative, you can click at the end of the paragraph. You can highlight it from the end. You can highlight from either from the beginning or from the end, any can do. Hold down the left mouse button and then you drag backward to highlight the text. All right, so now we got our text highlighted. We want to change the font size, right? It's how big or small the characters are. How do you do that? You go to home menu. This is where you come. You click home, and here you are. Now you come right here. This is the button, or this is the button that helps you to change the font size. You notice we have some numerical numbers here. This font is size 11, and by the way, the standard font is always size 12. So if I click here and I pick size 12, this is standard font, either 12 or 13, that people will always set up for a normal text. That's a standard font for a normal text, normally printed with size 12 or 13, right? But what if I want it big? How do I do it? Very simple. Click home, you come here, click here, and you pick a bigger size. There you are. Your text become big. That is font size. It's that simple, right? There are no secrets to computer. Once you know the basics and how to use different commands, you can do virtually anything that you want to do, right? No secret. It's not difficult. It's not technical. It's that simple. All right. So let's do it again. I want to do it for this one. The second paragraph. So click there. I will highlight it. All right. And then you come here. By the way, just a reminder, you click, hold down the left mouse button, and you drag to highlight. Okay, you move your mouse pointer. If you're using a laptop, you hold down the left mouse button, you move your finger on the touchpad, right? You drag and have it highlighted. Make sure you are at home menu, and then you come here, and then you can change the font size, right? So go ahead, do that. It's very simple. All right, so I want to believe you've done that. Now I want to show you something else. I want to show you how you change the font color. And as you can tell, that's the color of your text. You can always change the color of your text. So how do you do it? You highlight the text you want to change its color. All right, and you come here. You make sure you are at home menu, and then you come here. This is icon with the letter A, and then it's underlined. This is where you pick the different colors. So I click there. Don't click this, the letter A. Nope. Click this button here. Next to it, small button. We call it drop down list button. You're going to get different colors here. Pick any color of your choice. So if I choose this one, there you go. That's the color of my font. I have changed my font color. Let's highlight this one. Change the font color again. All right. You come here and you pick a different font color. You can give it yellow. You can give it brown. You can give it blue. All right. There you are. So that is how you change the font color. Now, I'm going to highlight the whole of my text. I want to give it one standard font, and then we're going to proceed with working on that. So I'm going to highlight the whole of this text. Keep on highlighting downwards, dragging my mouse until I get to the end of it. Then I go to font size. I want to give it one standard font size. Let's give it 14. All right. We've changed our font size. They are now of the same size. This one's a different font color. We can make them have the same font color. We highlight them, all of them, or the entire text, sorry. And then you come and you click here and you give it the same standard font color. All right, let's give it blue. There we are. Now, that is how you change font size, and that is how you change font color. I want to show you something different now, and this is what we call font type or font face. It's basically like your handwriting. You can change your handwriting at will. In a computer, we call that font face or font type, and you can change the font type for which you want to have your text. So you highlight, I click and highlight that, and then you come here, you make sure you are on home, not insert. Remember, if you pick any of these menus here, what you see here will change. All right, so if you are formatting, you have to go to home, and then you come here. We want to change our our font type. Click there, and these are different font types that you can use. All right, any of these are applicable, so I click, let me pick one of these. I want to pick one that is very, very distinguished, like that one. There you go. So that is now how your text would look like. Right, let's try it again with this one. Click, you highlight this text. Let's go to this button here, and let's pick a different font type. Maybe this one. All right, so notice how the font types are different. You can pick any font type of your choice. One more, and then you're done. Highlight this. You come here, and you scroll down. By the way, there are so many font types here. If you scroll down, you can get any font type that you want. So let's scroll down here and see what we have. Now, instead of clicking to drag down, you can bring your mouse pointer here and click at this bar or this slider. Hold down the left mouse button, click and hold down, and then you drag, move it downward, and then you'll be able to comfortably move it downward, okay, with ease and very fast. So let's look at let's pick stencil. There you go. So that is how you change your font type. So I want you to pause at this moment, and I want you to work on changing your font type. And then after this, I'm gonna be showing you how to underline. I'm gonna be showing you how to make your text bold. I'm gonna be showing you how to make your text italic. All right, so I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, and sorry for that. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, and I want you to change your font type. So 2 minutes, go for it, practice that, and then in the next section of this lesson, I'm gonna show you how to underline, how to italize, and how to make it bold. So practice on changing the font type of the font face. You have 2 minutes, go for it. All right, so it's my belief that you have practiced. Now I want us to go straight away, and I want us to learn 3 things: how to make something bold or your text bold. I will sorry for that. How to make your text bold, and how to underline it, and how to make it italic. All right, so let's get started. So first of all, let's get this text back to where it was. We want to remove all the changes we've made. We want to make it, first of all, we want to make it black. We'll change font size font color to black. You can pick automatic to basically black. We want to change this font type. Let's give it Calibre, and there we go. So now what you're going to do is, I want to show you how to make a text bold. Let's say I want to type a title, all right, for my lesson, and let's say this is a lesson number, this is our day 2. So I can type, first of all, I need to pull this text down to leave a space here for me to type. Notice if you want to type anything as a title on the top here, what we have here is the margin, so I cannot type here. So I have to push this text downwards and create a space for me to type the heading. So I'm going to click at the beginning of the text. If I click at the beginning of the text and then use the enter key, I will pull or push down the entire text. Let me pull out my keyboard from here. I'm going to pull out my keyboard. Here is our keyboard, and now we want to push this text downwards. So I'm going to click at the beginning of the text, then I'm going to click enter to move the text down. All right, there we go. Then I close our keyboard, and then let's give this one a heading. Let's say this is our day 2 session, right? Or let's say this is computer training. I want you to type with me, computer training course, and then we can put upward stroke. Let me show you how you do it. I want to pull out my keyboard, so I'm going to click the keyboard. I have it here. I'll go to your keyboard and look for, let's see whether what I want to use it can be seen here. All right, I want this straight line here. All right, so I'm going to click there. We want it there, so I position the cursor where we want it, and then I click there. Now what you're going to do is, you notice you are getting the slash, but I want the upright one. I don't want this slash, I want this one. So how do I get this one? Now pay close attention. When it comes to the keyboard, the shift key not only helps you to access or to shift from uppercase to lowercase, but it also helps you to access characters that are on the upper section of any keyboard key that has 2 characters. Let me explain. You notice this keyboard key here, it has 7 and and. The and is at the top, the 7 is at the bottom. This one, it has exponential sign and 6. So it's one key with 2 characters. This one, it has a percentage and 5. So how do I get the percentage? Normally, if you click here, you get the 5. But if I want the percentage, how do you do it? To get that percentage, all you need to do is press shift on your keyboard. In this case, I'm just clicking shift. And by the way, this is the shift, this is another shift. They all do the same job. So what I need to do now is, you make sure you click shift and then you click that key. If you click shift and then that key, what you're going to get is the upper character, not the lower characters. Now if I click here, I get the percentage. Right? So you go to your keyboard, press the shift key on your keyboard and hold it down without releasing it, and then you come and click where you have 5. You're going to get the percentage and not the 5. All right, let's say I want brackets here. I have 9 here and a bracket there, and I want the bracket. Normally if I click this key, you get the 9, but I want the bracket. So how do you do that? Let's delete those ones. The way you do that is, you press shift and hold it down. Do not release it, hold it down, then come and click there and you get the bracket. All right, so that is another function of the shift key. It helps you to get the upper character of any character, or rather the upper character in a keyboard key with 2 characters. Now let's now use that. Let's now apply that. So I'm going to remove this bracket, parenthesis. I'll use backspace. Now I want this one right here, not the forward slash. If I click here, just get the forward slash, but I want the stroke, this stroke that's upright. So let me delete that. To do that, I'll need to activate shift. I click shift, I hold it down on my keyboard, then I click there, and then I get now the upper character. All right, that's very important. Make sure you get it right. So now let's continue. That's computer training course, and then I want to say lesson 3, right? That's our title. Let's make this one online computer training course lesson 3. Let's close this one. All right, there you are. So now we have our title. How do we make this title bold? Bold means it appears more strong and more prominent than the rest of the text in this paragraph. So how do you do that? The first step is you highlight. You click, you highlight the heading, and then you go to home. Make sure you are under home menu, not insert, not page layout, not reference, not mailings, home. All right, then you come to where we have this B for bold. You click B, and now you have it bold. It's that simple. If you want to make it underlined, we click away. Now it's bold, but it's not underlined. So how do you make it underlined? Again, you highlight it, and then you make sure you are at home, and you come here, you have a U that is underlined below it. So you click there, and it's underlined. And there you are. So you have your title, it's bold, it's underlined. All right. One more thing before I give you to take your time and practice as we prepare for the next lesson tomorrow, if you're taking these lessons a day at a time. So one final thing, you can italize your text. All right, you make it slant. So how do you do that? Let's say I want to italize the name Eric. I just click there where the name starts, and I highlight the name itself, just like that. And then I come and click this I for italize. And notice now it's slanting forward, right? Let's highlight the whole of this. I can highlight this, and then let's make it slant. You click there. Notice now it's slanting. The rest is slanting, but this one is slanting. We call it italicizing. That is how you italize your text. And I can come here and make Eric bold. Just click there, highlight, and click bold. And there you go. You can bold anything you want. A word, a text, a word, a line, or a paragraph. Okay, I can decide I want the whole of this paragraph here to be highlighted. So I can just click the beginning of the paragraph, I highlight up to that point, and I want to make the whole of that one bold. So just go to B, and there you are. It's bold. All right. Let's say I want to bold a specific name of a place like Ruai and Tutawala. These are not actual English words, so I want to kind of make a distinction between them, the rest of the text. So I come to Ruai, I click there, and I highlight Ruai. Then I go to italize, I make it italic, and then I make it bold. Right? I do the same to Utawala. I click there, I highlight Utawala, I go to italize, and then I make it bold. There you are. Then I go to Nairobi. I'm just going to make Nairobi italiced. I will not make it bold. I highlight Nairobi, and then I go to italize, and there you go. See, pretty easy. These things are simple. They are not as hard as you might have thought. All right, you can master these skills. You can really get good at this, and you really making good progress. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to take your time and practice everything that you've learned in this lesson. Practice italicizing, using the keyboard, making it bold, changing font color, font type, highlighting, sorry, not highlighting, but underlining, changing the font type, all those things that you covered in this lesson. All right, take your time, practice, and then in the next lesson we're going to finalize on how to work with the text, and then if time allows us, I'm going to introduce you to working with what we call object. As of now, we've been dealing with the text, but there are certain objects that you can work with in MS Word. We actually have 5 objects. I'm going to be introducing you to that in the next lesson if time allows. As for now, I want you to practice what you've learned. I want you to build your skills. Remember, repetition is the mother of skill, right? So don't do it once and think you're good. No, I want you to practice, practice, practice. Get it, let it sink, let it become like let it become a memory muscle to you. And the way you get competent is by practicing. So take your time, practice, and I'll see you in the next lesson as we dive into day 4 or lesson 4, where we are going to finish up with working with the text, and then I will introduce you to manipulating or working with objects in MS Word. Until then, practice, practice, and master this, and I'll see you in the next lesson.